look who's decided to grace us with a little visit. Uninvited, as usual. You do the abhorrent greeting.
That abhorrent maniac, Napoleon Brie.
Your taste in clothing is abominable.
What an absolute debacle.
Absolutely absurd. Don't be absurd, my good mouse. Don't be absurd. Machines can't simply turn on you.
Absurdly obvious.
Good morning, my acrid administrator. Actually, you're an addle-pated, asinine idiot. Those aggravating animals.
Not till we've completed this aggravating assignment.
Are aggravatingly certain to show up. Amateurs. In your own amusingly limited vernacular, my dear boy. Ours beware, Lawrence Limburger will conquer this angry red planet. Most annoying, are they not? I have got to find someone a bit more evil, calculating, and a lot less annoying.
However, this sort of thing could become annoying on a continuous basis.
If I had you annoying animal, it would hardly be a secret exit, would it?
Our annoying association with the pit boss is terminated.
Those annoying mammals don't react well to green things. I do so hope that you can keep your annoying sense of humor intact.
And now, for the usual and annoyingly heroic entry.
So annoyingly infrequent. But those rodents are annoyingly law-abiding hooligans. How annoyingly typical. Drat those anthropomorphic animals. And an appallingly accurate aftertaste. I was contemplating a less arduous demonstration of your devotion. You asinine aristocrat. Is there no escape from this asinine asteroid? Our avian adversary appears to be gaining, Carbuncle. Blast those barbaric bikers back to the Bronze Age!
Where is that barrister barracuda?
It's about time, you belated bumbling buffoons. Blast those bestial biker mice! When you three dissolve into the biker blobs from Mars. Spare me the bravado, you biker buffoons. Well, my dear doctor, have we crafted a suitably creative demise for those biker mice meddlers? Those biker rebels have now come to Earth. A bilious bouquet with just a trace of toxicity. Is bilious bilgewater unless Lord Camembert will be arriving at any instant to inspect the beverage. Not to allow the bitter memory of tricked and deceived by your bitterest enemy. Those blasted bikes of theirs are too fast. Always those blasted biker mice bring me down. And if those blasted biker mice... Who beside those blasted biker mice would wish to wage war with Lawrence Limburger? Because now I'm invariably inconvenienced by those blasted biker mice. And of course, those blasted biker mice... Even if those blasted biker mice should happen to find us here. If only it weren't for those blasted biker mice. Blasted government parts. A chance to destroy Chicago and those blasted mice as well. By the time I am finished, Chicago will have had the bleakest, blackest Christmas in memory. Get moving, you blubbery buffoon. The ever-inevitable appearance of those bombastic biker mice. You bombastic biker mice. I want to know where that bombastic bird is at once.
Those bothersome badgers are chained up inside our fire truck.
You mean we have to keep that boorish bait bucket from leaving? Once those bothersome biker mice are delivered into my hands, these days, something always seems to be those bothersome biker mice. Those bothersome biker mice have beaten the bombardment. While Breeze June Rangers and those bothersome biker mice are busy entertaining each other, blister their bothersome bottoms. Thank you so much for taking care of that bothersome buzzard for me. A chance to destroy not only that bothersome last chance garage.
Why can't anybody rid me of these bothersome vermin?
Bothersome woman of no intrinsic importance, really.
Ladies and boys.
Greetings, you buck-toothed buffoons.
Listen here, you budget-brained brilliantine.
Respect, you buffoon!
For a certain burdensome parcel of real estate.
Tonight, we honor the cad of all cads. It's a political party, you canola cretin. Stop cavorting around in that time machine and prepare it for soil transport. Those chortling chipmunks think they saved the trees by destroying my buzz cycle. No, too clever. Curse you, clumsy cretins!
You clumsy cretin.
Please, please, my comrades in chaos!
Oh no, my dear condemned compatriot.
What is taking that confounded carbuncle so long? My corpulent craven. will cram the corrupt coffers of Limburger Incorporated.
Cowardice is the better part of valor. Rest at ease, my dear cowardly cadets.
What's taking so long, you cranial cretin?
You, my cranially challenged cohort,
Those Motor City maniacs are a little too crazy for me.
You cretinous creatures.
How could this crone do that?
Enough crowing, my dear canary. Watch closely, my cumbersome commander. Not that I necessarily desire that cumbersome piece of rusted real estate, that cyberpunk cyclist and their cycle sidekick, and obliterate that daredevil mouse. My dear disease degenerate doctor.
Of course you're right, my dear doomed damsel in distress.
As you hopefully have gathered, to allow these dearly departed do-gooders to distract you from your training. With the death of diction as we know it. Have you changed your decaying mind about your perilous water order?
Get them, you decomposing delinquents! Just a few more seconds, and Chicago will be my own delightful deep dish pizza. Why, you degenerate dolts! You deleterious dolt! Welcome to your delectable downfall.
Oh, how deliciously devilish.
How deliciously sinister.
I'll be converting Chicago into a delightfully desolate desert.
I want a demanding grocery list.
My dementally despicable doctor.
With the dementally diseased Dr. Carbuncle on patrol.
Wonderful, my dear demented doctor.
Now move, you demented dripping dolt! Hopefully the demented carbuncle is faring better with his mission. The demon hatchling.
Tut, my dear deranged doctor. Oh, our deepest condolences, my dear derelict dictator.
Why, I'm the original Limburger, you derelict doppelganger.
My dear desiccating doctor, I can take advantage of my patron's desperate gambling fever. I wonder what despicably deceptive deviant...
Drat those destructive dormice. Don't they ever use doors?
Drat those detestable... Huh? Once you detestable dormice are defeated, I'll be off to plunder, pillage, and pocket this entire city. Suggest we formulate a temporary truce to eliminate those detestable vermin.
I would prefer to watch this devastation from a more objective and, more importantly, safely protected viewpoint.
No, my dear deviated lip doctor. Take it away, my devoted deviants. Something diabolical. Flee the diabolical brilliance of Lawrence Limburger.
Help me, you dilatory dolt!
Fire, you diminished dimwit!
I told you this devious disguise would defeat that diminutive deviate from Detroit.
Who is this diminutive dimwit?
You dimwit!
My dear dim-witted drip pan.
Simply stay silent, you dim-witted dripping disappointment.
Be the Ginchy first caller and bag this prize of extraordinary size.
How disappointing.
This is a most disconcerting development. A disgraceful escape, but at least I'm able to destroy all the evidence against me. How disgusting. Deliciously disgusting. Study the dishonorable fighting techniques of Breeze Dune Rangers to impair their dismal futures. I've concluded your little display of ineptitude. The curtain has fallen on those distracting dormice. Let's roll out and dethrone that dithering dolt from Detroit. And because I am unhappy, yeah, dog-food! As soon as those two dolts have returned, I want to see them in my office. ASA. Dolt! You don't!
Oh, drat those dormice!
Kindly detain these dormice. Welcome, my dear dormice. My dear Dotty Doctor. The dear Dr. Dementhead's new high-volume pumping device, which exists only in this dreadfully damp ancient England. I am in desperate need of deliverance from a drearily depressing day. How droll. A dubious demise at best. I didn't bring you millions of years back in time just to play hide and seek with your dunce cap.
You dullard!
You dunderhead! I fear you're too late, my eerie enemies. That egomaniac evil eye weevil in attendance.
The tables have turned, you egregious earthling.
But upon the word of Lawrence
Clarence Limburger, you will come to deeply regret this egregious transgression. I want to demonstrate a new game I've invented. You play it with a club and a couple of empty heads. What are you implying, you encephalitic eccentric? No! Your errant blasts are demolishing my tower.
An erroneous assumption, I assure you.
But what of those ersatz ermine? My esteemed heel. You and the rest of my ever-incompetent goons are, how shall I put it? Fired? Something evil.
Oh, why do I surround myself with the evolutionally challenged?
Excessive. Quickly, let us beat an expediently hasty retreat, shall we?
Too expensive. And endure yet another experiment in failure.
Failure, failure, failure. A faintly fetid finish.
Me down, you portrait facsimiles.
Blame it all upon faulty pyrotechnicians. Actually, I'm rather glad you fuelless verbals could make it for the obligatory exciting finale.
Excellent work, my feather-festooned firepower.
Now that those mice have removed that feathered flying female, finally, you feckless failures have come up with something useful. That's right, you feckless furballs. Break those feeble restraints
And their feminine friend.
Be following our fidgety friend.
Fire up your fiendish factory, my dear doctor. Attack of the 50-foot lunkhead.
In this, your final failure.
Oh, fish tartar.
And why, pray tell me, are those flatulent failures still polluting my building? Those flying foxbites can do absolutely nothing to interfere.
Run, you fools.
You fools! You've doomed us all! This fool Greasebit, that fool Mordred. Through skillful and subtle manipulation of Bree's foolish heart, there won't be a wedding. I'll personally blast you into a forensics nightmare. That will knock his foul-smelling socks off. Or this frantic young female will be fricasseed fondue. Devise a devious disaster for those frustrating furballs. It's been nothing but one frustrating series of setbacks after another.
You're denying me a personal farewell to those furry ferrets.
Those furry flea factories are foiling me again.
Farewell, my furry friends.
Foiled by those furry frustrations, the biker mice. And those furry frustrations.
I'll fry their furry hides.
Cease your futile struggles. Those galling gophers have reversed the asteroid attractor. We seem to have some gate crashers. Hit it with something, you giddy grunge heap. He's a grandstanding, arrogant, hostile maniac.
Oh, sticks and stones, you grousing groupers.
Oh, cease this grateful groveling. In a manner of speaking, you greasy, gargling glutton.
You greasy gorgon! Shove any more words in my mouth, you greasy grotesque, and I'll have you drained and quartered. I'm on a diet.
Listen, you greasy poltroon. Okay, you greedy guppy, you win. Let go, you grey-furred gibbon. Had I demolished that grisly garage as planned, my fat would truly be fried.
Ever so correct, my grizzle genius.
I let that spider thing, you grotesque grease blot. Because my guileless goons shipped the land they stole from the Tempest to the planet Pluto instead of Plutarch. How unfortunate those hairball heroes have discovered my strategy.
Blast those hairy hackers.
My dear half-brained henchman, that ham-fisted career cretin has taken control of the Limburger Empire, and Chicago will just as surely follow. No, you hapless half-wit. My hapless hired hands are so vehicularly challenged.
No, too hard to control.
You blew a fuse, didn't you, you hassock head? But perhaps I was a bit hasty. Oh, let us not be hasty when so much is uncertain. No need to be hasty. Hold still, you hateful hamsters. Do terminate these heinous hamsters, won't you?
I am offering at no charge to the unfortunate victims of this heinous villainy.
Get your hideous hide up here on the... Yeah! You highbrow herring.
You yourselves have seen that their history.
A victim of amnesia from that horrible blast. There has been, shall we say, a hostile takeover of the firm. Jet Blaster, my dear hothead. Those humanoid hamsters have cost me several fortunes in repairs and renovations. It seems those humanoid hamsters are definitely after the pink seed plant.
Except for your usual humiliating defeat.
The ever so humiliating defeat. I can't bear the humiliation again.
Is there no humiliation I am to be spared?
Don't try my patience, you hydrocephalic headcase. This is all your fault, you hydrocephalic headcase.
The brain of your hyperactive friend.
Hurry, you hypocritical helpmeet.
Dealing with idiocy is infuriating enough.
No buts, you idiosyncratic idiot.
Perhaps you would care to notice that they're not the only thing coming, you idiots.
You ignominious edentate! Watch where you're going, imbecile.
But you're a complete imbecile. Why am I telling all this to you?
You know, I was kind of wondering that myself.
No, you imbeciles! Impede their egress, you imbeciles! Why must the genius of my cinematic stylings always be compromised by imbecilic actors? You imbecilic impediments!
I grovel before the imposing repulsiveness.
Well, in view of such impressively potent discord,
Too inane.
those inane outfits are...
I fear Greasepit is incapable of operating a toothpick, let alone a siphon.
Is there no end to their incessant irritation?
You're simply incompetent.
One couldn't very well expect incompetent idiots like Greasepit and my goons to...
I'm sure your inconsistent associate, that
Human female.
I am, however, intensely infuriated at your incredibly idiotic incompetence.
Pay attention, you indolent imbecile.
I'm afraid this is going to be yet another ineluctably ignominious ending.
Another defeat at the paws of those infernal biker mice.
But what of those infernal biker mice?
All those infernal mice will soon be in one place at one time.
I must rid myself of those infernal mice.
Why are these infernally infuriating biker mice so darn difficult to defeat?
Will you stop that infernal racket?
That is my infernally infuriating older sister, LaToya.
Slightly inflated, don't you think? Similar to your head and ego. That infuriating female is actually making them laugh.
How inopportune.
Are you insane? Another mouse? This is insane.
Blast that breeze, insane.
Are you insane?
But insanity.
That cyberpunk cyclist's insidious invention is precisely what I need to complete my newest little plan.
But such are the small sacrifices one insignificant planet must make for the good of a greater planet, don't you think?
Not now, my dear boy. Can't you see I'm reveling in my insubordination? It's those intergalactic guinea pigs. What is the meaning of this intrusion?
You insultable idiot!
What better excuse for piping in all that city water without raising a lot of irksome questions than a water slide park?
As a film producer, I can act irresponsibly.
Have we destroyed that irritating radio station yet?
And you two are jailed gerbils.
Where on earth did you get these cadets? A Jerry Lewis convention?
Well, yeah.
Drat those jousting gerbils.
Thank you, kind scions of law and order. This is killing all credibility with my local allies. Our little lab rats are headed right for the trap. Makes the others look lame.
What did you do with those biker mice mannequins, you lard-loaded lunkhead?
Don't just lie there, you lazing louts.
I would prefer that the proceedings remain free of, say, a less desirable variety of vermin.
But there is just one, rather, three little problems.
The biker mice, boss?
It's those loathsome biker mice who keep interfering. And word has it, also saving some loathsome fishermen, too. As splendid a sight as that would be, my loathsome leader. Finish off those loathsome lemmings! With those loathsome loogies. And then, in quick order, your loathsome selves. Of your loathsome visage.
Yeah, there's a lot of loose bricks, though.
Greasepit, my dear boy.
Yeah, boss?
You are a loose brick.
That low-rent imbecile Greasepit and his goons in prison. Set it for the lowest. Me. Who's the lowest of them all? Me. Join me, my loyal degenerates. Commendable timing, my loyal liniment lunkhead.
lubricant leaking lummox. You lubricated lumphead! You lubricious lugnut! You ludicrous lout! Those machismo-motivated biker mice will never be able to resist that. I thought those maddening mice had been vaporized. It would appear that those maddeningly meddlesome mice have once again caused a cash flow calamity. Or an absolute madman. Give me that, you malapert moron. Oh, you must understand, my malevolent MD. That malformed mutant is making me spend my own money.
After, of course, destroying those malodorous mice.
Don't look so surprised, my mammalian mice. I must dispose of those mangy mice before the opening of my new water slide park. I've got that mangy mouse in my sights now. I said obliterate them, you mangy morass of metal. I simply cannot allow that maniacal moron to get above himself. With those Martian motorcycles impounded in Limburger Plaza, and those marauding mice now afoot, I can concentrate on delivering that promised load of uranium to Plutarch. I shall be the one to seize Stilton, only to place the blame on those marauding mice. Now, my Martian marmosets, those Martian menaces have been neutralized.
Show these Martian muskrats what this ray is really capable of.
Get out of the way, you masochistic miscreant! If I can't fight those matted-haired heroes outside the law, all this fuss over a measly $1 or $2 billion in order to hijack a few measly freighters of gas for Plutarch. All I want to do is to destroy one single measly paltry little planet. Is that so much to ask?
Well, if it'll help focus your meager attentions on Bree, then meaningless labels, really.
Oh, it's just a meaningless shrine. If I could only lure the meddlers into a trap somehow.
And that meddlesome cyberpunk egghead.
The honeymoon is over, you meddlesome mice. Get rid of some meddlesome mice. Blast! Those meddlesome mice escaped. Luckily, those meddlesome mice will soon be neutralized when the motorcycles are totally infected.
And this time sendeth those meddlesome mice to some other play.
Yes. You and those meddling marauders. My long-awaited extermination of those meddling Martian mammals is about to transpire. Get those meddling Martian marmosets now! Come along, you meddling mechanic. For once, you and I are in total agreement, my dear meddling mechanic. Blast, you meddling mice! A ploy to lure out those meddling mice. And you meddling mice? In a moment, those meddling mice will ride through that door. I should be able to destroy not only those meddling mice, while perhaps also tanning the hides of those meddling mice. Perhaps with some opportunistic manipulation, I can aid those meddling mice in defeating Greasebit. And happily, some meddling mice who have disturbed distribution in the past have been set aside as well. Remove those meddling morons from the set! You meddling muskrat! No, you mentally deficient mutant! Will you please find a way to keep this Mephistophelian miner busy without actually killing him? Is that your courageous counterattack, my meretricious mice? Shut up, you miasmatic moron! Once the acid makes mincemeat of the municipal metal, not just any mountain, you minuscule-minded moron. No matter what minuscule mission of menace I attempt to embark on, rest assured that I shall not let these miscreants go unpunished. Now get them, you miscreants. Those miscreant marmosets will never make it in time.
Make no move whatever against those miscreant marmosets until exactly 9 o'clock.
I've had it with those miscreant mice, carbuncle, so you find and destroy those miserable biker mice. But I can recuperate from yet another most miserable day. If the conclusion to this miserable debacle is true to its predictable pattern, those miserable Martian mice...
Forget about those miserable mice.
You miserable moles! Our lofty lair is far above the altitudinal abilities of their miserable motorcycles. Which tape are you referring, you miserable rodent? At that miserable rundown garage. The time has come, my misery-loving mutant.
It would appear so, wouldn't it now, my dear misguided gibbon?
With typical conniving aplomb, I am taking full advantage of Bree's misguided infatuation. The moldiest place on earth. That monstrous heavy metal maniac. No! Please, your monstrous monarch. A moron. Every moron gives a minnow for himself. There'll be nobody else moronic enough. You moronic meathead. head, you moronic menial! You are more or less immune from the ravages of those moronic mice. I need you moronic minions to guard the tug transformer. Who is the most annoying personality in pop music?
It is currently occupied by the most appallingly arrogant of antagonists.
That's the most disgusting, abhorrent, odious... The most disgusting team of twisted evil enforcers Plutarch ever produced.
Who is the most dreadfully annoying personality in pop music? What I have here is the most odious enemy of all rock and roll enthusiasts. Polka music. I shall turn this task over to the most terrifying talent in 3 galaxies. Those motorcycle-riding morons are about to undergo their greatest test.
Destroying that Motor City madman, Napoleon Brie!
Those Motor City maniacs.
Oh, but my dear motor-mouthed mouse, you underestimate me.
What are you? A man or a mouse?
A man. I think.
I'll have you broiled for this, you mouse!
Why, no, Mr. Mouse.
You mucilaginous moron!
Our multi-appendaged friends are infesting the entire city.
How mundane.
My dear muscular mouse.
Get out, you mutant misfits!
You mutton-headed moron.
Show me something truly nasty.
Even their worms leave a nasty aftertaste.
Just bring me those nasty old biker mice.
With this nasty ordeal behind us, carefully installed in case of unnatural disaster, such as yourselves.
That self-appointed lawman of your nefarious domain.
Something that will rid me of those nefarious mice.
My dear nefarious nephew,
I have additional preparations to attend to, my nefarious Nimrods.
Shall return to Detroit and lead your attack of retribution upon that nefarious non-talent Brie.
undoubtedly the result of some negligent safety violation. He can be so neurotic at times.
Not now, you nincompoop!
What do you want, you nocturnal knave?
Nonsense.
And what would that be, you noxious nincompoop?
Perhaps you fail to comprehend that unless you board this craft at once,
You will be atomized into nuclear dust.
You say those obnoxious biker mice were actually fighting other criminal elements besides us? My dear obsequious greasebit.
truly there is occasionally no difference advantage to being a Plutarkian.
My offense is rank. It smells to heaven.
Listen, you oil film foul-up. And aside, you oily idiot, I must get this ship moving.
No, you oily oaf.
That's Mount Rushmore, you oily oaf. That's not what it means, you oleaginous oaf.
Try to appreciate the true magnificence of it, you oleaginous orangutan.
You oleaginous orangutan. You oozing orangutan.
He's completely out of control.
What is the meaning of this outrage? How do you justify this outrageous expense?
It would be best if our outsized adversary did not return to testify against me.
I believe our overbiting friend here has provided an excellent idea. Kindly effect our escape, you over-enthusiastic oafs. You overfed oligarch. Watch it, you overgrown grease stain.
Your puerile penchant for overly dramatic entrances has proved to be your downfall, biker mice.
With my tug transformers particle stream completely incapacitating your overrated laser weaponry, permit me to pass, you overweight oily oaf.
A real pain in the...
But man, I can't believe he's getting away clean.
And my pampered posterior's on the line.
Another pathetic ending. I'm so sorry to spoil your pathetic little rescue effort. Now, pathetic losers all.
It's a ploy, you pathetic palooka.
Pathetic pampered poltroons.
You pathetic petroleum poltroon. Perhaps you could summon someone who'd be of more advantageous use to me than this pathetic petroleum-poured pustule.
Of course, the biker mice, you pathetic pinhead.
If you pathetic poltroons.
The 3 leaders of that pathetic rebellion.
I anticipated that it was only a matter of time before you attempted such a pathetic stunt as this.
Your pathetically startled expressions were well worth my being here. Now what, you pea-brained poltroon?
You perforated pustule.
Is there no escaping those pernicious pests? If only I could rid myself of their pernicious presence.
Oh, impertinent idiot. Awaiting your perverse pleasure.
Of course, I was more than willing to steal it and avoid the pesky legalities, but no. Prepare to polish off those pestiferous biker mice. You pestilent prairie dogs!
Pulverize those pestilent prairie dogs!
Be careful, you petroleum-based poltroon! What are you talking about, you petroleum-based poltroon?
Would you shut up, you petroleum-pelted poltroon, you petroliferous pinhead? Where's my Plutarkian flag, you petroliferous popinjay?
You'll regret this, you petty regulator!
Thank you for taking those petulant biker mites off my hands.
Oh, you pin-headed silly! No, you pitiful poltroon. Spare me your pitifully pathetic pleas for pardon.
It is pointless.
Pull me inside, you poltroons! Go away, you poltroon. You polyunsaturated pea-brain. Control yourself, you pompadoured poltroon!
My dear pompous pickled herring.
You pompous plutocrats.
And who are you to promulgate proclamations, you pompous pollywog?
Oh, you poor deluded creatures. That poor unfortunate school will regrettably be destroyed.
Oh, come now. What matters paltry titles?
Good morning, my practically posthumous pests. Then get started on the next plot of soil, you prattling petrolump. You may possess your precious plant, but I have your spaceship. Fortunately, their predictability has been planned for. And so predictably punctual, too.
Let those prehensile pests waste their precious petrol.
Once those prehensile-tailed pests are disposed of...
Preposterous! Not you presumptuous poltroon! And dispatch the prevaricating prince post-haste.
And you, my dear, are a prisoner. Professional garbage men with professionally pungent garbage. How could that puff-muscled poseur be the slightest threat?
Just what could that pungent plea bargain of provolone be up to?
This puny planet shall be my oyster. Be sure to finish destroying these purposeless statements of mine up. You pusillanimous poltroon. From now on, Lawrence Limburger is through playing patty cake with those pusillanimous possums. Let's get to the point of this case, my putrid pettifogger.
Music in the workplace is really quite highly overrated.
Really, it's become quite tiresome. Digitize grease-pits ragamuffin renderings at once. My rambunctious rodents. Those rampaging reptiles are kicking the building down. Those rampant rodents will simply arrive and ruin everything as they always do. See for your rancid selves. If I could only keep those rapacious rock and roll rodents from ruining my plan.
Eradicate those wascally rodents!
All I need to do now is to lure those mice from their rat hole. I'm saying that if we merely take out one of them, their whole rat pack will collapse like a house of cards. What a lovely recipe! Rat pancakes! Now that we've drowned those rebel rats, those recalcitrant rodents are retiring. And by next week, Chicago will be covered with redolent, rotting refuse. You reek worse than ever. This reeking city has now been delightfully deserted. Oh, most regrettable turn of events is the remainder of those relentless rodent roadsters. Magnificently impressive display of machismo, dear renegade rodent. Well, if it isn't our renegade rodent friends. Since you're responsible for this repellent reptile, if only I could get those reprobate rodents in my sights for one teensy moment. It's those reprobate rodents. If you can't take care of those repulsive rodents, you see, you're not going to be able to stop me, you repulsive rodents. Greetings, your resplendent repulsiveness. Who'd have thought those revolting red planet rodents would decide to play amateur garbage collector? I had a belly full of those revolting rodents on Mars. What a revoltingly charming example of the urban underclass. Those ridiculous rodents should be marsh gas by now. They'll never stop those rogue rodents from foiling my plans. Politics is a power game, rodent.
What are you rodents implying?
Seize those rodents. How are you at roasting rodents? Quickly, follow those rodents.
Excellent job indeed, rodent.
But those rodents...
And as for those rodents, welcome back to reality, rodents and gentlemen.
Some rodent Achilles heel. Every time I come up with a delicately balanced plan to entrap those rodent friends of yours, it seems the rodent renegades have a sentimental soft spot. Those rotten rodents are actually gaining on us.
Oh, what a rogue and pleasant villain am I.
Rot those rough-riding rodents!
Your royal redolent reekmeisters.
Greetings, my royally rancid ruler.
It was that ruffian there. Now those ruinous rats will be stranded here in the past, never to grieve me again. Can no one suggest a site where those ruinous rodents won't unearth my mining operations? Get back out there and finish off those runaway rats. Would you kindly accompany him to prevent his realizing this sad but unavoidable fact? Get out there and mine me more, you salve-seeping sap. Somehow I've come to expect that sad truth. Here's something sure to soothe the savage beast in all of us, or next to us, as the case may be. You shall eliminate the scourge of my existence.
It's the scooter mice from Mars.
I'm speaking of the scum of the universe.
Squelch those scurrilous squirrels! Seize those seditious squirrels! Instantly!
If I dare requisition a new module, I risk another of the High Chairman's severely censorious overreactions.
Ah, my dear shady scientist, look.
And to lavish him with shamelessly toady suck-up gifts.
How sickeningly apropos. Don't be silly, my dear doctor. Silly me.
Get it away from me, you simpering psycho! I know it's the sun, you simpering simpleton. This simpleton scheme of yours simply shall not succeed. After some skillfully deceptive maneuvering on my part, Bree thinks I do. But they want another slave as well.
Oh, guaranteed your slimy superiority.
You slippery scale shyster. Calm yourself, my sloppy secondary.
Dismiss those small-timers from your mind.
I'll teach you smug little vermin a lesson you'll never forget. Cease your salivating, you sniveling sycophant. What? I believe I will elevate that brick building over there next.
But your putrid pungentness, that's an orphanage.
Wonderful. Then there won't be any unhappy parents writing snivelly letters to the newspapers. Shut up, snotball.
Now, are your so-called goons ready to fly?
Despite this personally souring setback, for once my own precious Limburger Tower still stands safely in Chicago.
Someone appears to be summoning that sovereign souffle Stilton. What a splendidly slimy idea. Never mind, you squalid grease squirt. Surely you would not allow those squalid squeakers to interfere with your assignment.
To think that I, Lawrence Limburger, should be reduced to such squalid surroundings. Thank you, my stagnant chamber potness.
My dear stagnant stinkpots. Observe, my stagnating Stilton. Don't just lie there, you slothful subordinate.
As much as it pains me to say so, this stinks.
What are you doing, you stupid... Ah! It's melting the snow, you stupid sycophant.
Not even one of your sublime nauseatingnesses could have done any better.
Suckers.
The sooner our susceptible suckers, patrons, lose all their money. Good night, sweet sewer rats.
Oh, do cease your sycophantic sniveling.
Those tail-whipping interlopers, the biker mice. And absolutely tasteless.
Kindly dispense with the tedious formalities, your high stinkiness.
You thick-headed thespian.
It could solve my thorniest labor problem.
Turn this tin can around. Any damage to our interesting little robot will instantly destroy the tiny little brain that's powering it. The top scoundrel in the universe. As you can see, I've made certain arrangements to assure your total discomfort.
And so, in the interests of the public good, I now volunteer the Limburger Toxic Cleanup Corporation to take care of this tragic spill.
Seize those traitors to the Republic! See to it that those treadmill traipsers have a featured role in this scene.
Come back here, you treasonous tricycles! That treacherous trout. He tricked me. But a bribe of this magnitude requires triple your usual treachery. You're really just a trifling trio of troublemakers after all. There'd be nobody else moronic enough to take this troublesome assignment if I left. Where we always get them, you twaddling twit.
Well, if it isn't ubiquitous biker mice.
And must guard against the ugly possibility of fair play.
Oh, we'll discuss that unappreciative bevy of boneheads later.
Too unbelievable.
Oh, this is most uncomfortable. Not yet, you anxious oaf. Succeeding in business requires forethought and underhandedness. It seems there is an unfortunate truth to what the Earthlings say. Will you please stop calling me that unfortunate childhood nickname? And just became the uninvited guests of honor. Such extreme methods are entirely unnecessary. This is a most unpleasant awakening. Unpleasant, ma'am, really? I ever so deeply regret bringing you into this unpleasant situation. One unpredictable misfortune after another. Unequivocally, you unrefined ungulate. Indeed, maybe even unsafe. I found its condition to be quite unsatisfactory.
I sincerely hope that unsightly matron is not giving me that come-hither look.
An untimely demise. What is the meaning of this unwarranted intrusion? My unworthy employees?
Quite brilliant, Doctor. But useless.
What?
Oh, the utter humiliation of it all. Once again, you have turned my life into utter swill. That last scene was a complete and utterly unmitigated disaster. My forces failed to vaporize those vagabond vermin. You vapid vermin. So just to make doubly sure those vapid vermin do their fair, albeit unwitting, parts in destroying the stadium. Not this way, you vapid vole! Turn around! Don't let those vengeful voles take their vehicles. Oh, hurry it up, you ventilating vaporhead. Good of you to pop in, vermin.
Dispose of those vermin, would you?
Ta-ta! You vermin. The vermin appear to have vanquished my oil-bearing associate. Our little operation seems to be suffering from a vermin infestation. Now those vermin will be guarding the station day and night. Feed by those vermin. Ever so gratifying of you to drop in, vermin.
Perhaps you're overwrought due to an obvious infestation of vermin. Only with our combined forces do you stand a chance of exterminating the last of those vermin.
Though Burnham would come to Dunsinane, I fear thee not.
I believe the time is nigh for a little vermin vaporization.
Battle stations, vanquish those vermin to the vast vacuum of space.
Welcome to the central processor, you verminous violators.
I'm certain our verminous visitors would appreciate some stimulating company. How very embarrassing for you. It's those vexatious vermin again. 2 vexatious vermin down. 1 to go. Those vexatious vermin have entered this edifice for the last time. Is there no escaping those vexatious vermin? I want those vexatious vermin smashed. It would seem those ever vexatious vermin have developed a sudden interest in horticulture. Take this, you vexing vermintia. How to get the grain and hay I need for Plutarch and escape those vile velocipedic voles at one and the very same time. Kindly create a vehicle those vile vermin cannot possibly shoot down. May have let those vile vermin escape, but you all certainly have one delightful thing in common, my vile villains. You're responsible for this, you vile vixen. Not even those vile voles could break in there. Those vile voles have breached our perimeter. Get those vile voles! The vilest. Bring this vilest of villains to our little soiree. Must they always make such a violent entrance? And the rest of those vomitous vermin. I need to find some weakness. I crave the complete destruction of those weasels on wheels. Once again, you feeble-brained fools managed to muff it.
Truly, I am a well-battered fish.
Grab her, you wheezing whelp.
You whimpering white faces. Those whisker wastrels have almost made it.
Watch out, you witless oil slick! You witless oil slick! You wombats are starting to get above yourselves. They have the worst time. Bah! You're worthless. Those worthless wombats always arrive to interfere. Not a chance, you worthless weasels.
Somehow I must find my needed funding here on this wretched little planet.
You You wretched rodents won't be around to stop me! It's those wretched rodents!
Letting those wretched rodents escape you.
You wretched rodents!
It's party time, all right, you wretched rodents.
Yes, those wretched rodents may even lose their taste for hard rock.
I must concoct a suitable vengeance upon all those wretched rodents. These good sand raiders have agreed to accept the human female as partial payment for dealing with these wretched rodents.
Those wretched rodents have ruined my plans once more.
Those wretched rodents had no other place to house a woman warrior.
You'll pay for that, wretched woman.
Get out there and fight, you yellow-backed barnacles!
Why, I believe that yodeling yahoo's given me the germ of an idea.
Return to the academy, my young mutant.
Yes, truly, I am a genius.
Yes, yes.